Hi guys, my name is Samantha and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a fun video for you guys. I wanted to share a story time of how I manifested $800 in my account. So I want to share with you guys how I was able to manifest money from almost nowhere in a matter of days. So let's get on to the video. I was pretty much in a desperate situation. I was pretty much low on my rent and I had a couple of days, maybe like even less than a week, to try to figure out what I was going to do. And somehow I was able to manifest money in my account, and it was kind of crazy actually. If you guys don't know what manifestation is, basically it's, in my general term, it's about setting out an intention, putting out a desire that you want into the world, and you know, the universe is going to make it happen for you. You tell the universe what you want and it's going to happen. You just have to literally believe and be patient. I'm not going to go ahead and tell you guys what I'm using on my face. Everything is going to be down in the description box for you guys, and if you have any questions, feel free to like and comment and obviously subscribe. So manifesting. So this was a time when I had two main sources of income. I was modeling in New York City, so I was doing like fashion beauty work in New York City, some paid, some unpaid. And I was also doing promotional modeling work and event work. If you're not familiar with promo modeling or anything like that, if you've ever gone to an event for like a big brand or even a small brand and you've seen individuals working those like kiosks, those stands, the picture booths, or just people walking around in, you know, the brand's logo and dressed up and things like that. Those are all stages and different types of promo modeling. You also have individuals who might be like on the serving end of that, but basically it's just a great way to supplement your earnings by working these events, because you can basically make your own hours in a sense, you know. You're an independent contractor and you can, you know, apply and cast for different gigs, and you can make your own hours that way. And another benefit of it is that you can kind of make bank in a weekend because they pay pretty high for these events. So you can kind of just work 2 or 3 weekends out of the month if you have like really good gigs, and you have the opportunity, if you're an actor, a model, or a singer, or whatever, to pursue your passion on those other days. So there's a lot of benefits to working as a promotional model, or working as a server, or working as, you know, in that like industry. But the downside about it is that a lot of these companies do not pay on a schedule that's practical. A lot of these companies pay you 30 days after the event, 40 days, 60 days, like 2 months after the event. And that's where the problem comes in. So at this time in my life, I was working a lot of gigs, and I had booked a lot of gigs, worked a lot of events, but I was not being paid. And that was where the problem came in, because I was waiting for payment from 2-3 events that just felt like they were never going to come in. And a lot of these events, they don't do direct deposit. They pay you via a check, so you have to wait to receive the check in the mail, and then you have to deposit the check in your bank account, and that takes a day or 2 to clear as well. So yeah, it was kind of a tough situation. I was down $800 on my rent, so I needed $800 just to pay rent, and that's not even like talking about like other expenses as well, you know? So let me think, what happened? So I remember feeling really shitty. I felt shitty because I wasn't able to make my rent, and it was coming up in like a week. And I just remember like checking my bank account every day, trying to see if I got paid for the event that I did 2-3 weeks ago. I was reaching out to the agencies that I was working with, and I'm like, hey, you know, is there a way to like get paid earlier? Is there a way to, you know, like get paid? And obviously there was no way for them to pay me earlier. And then I was like looking for events that I can get paid faster. So basically there are certain events that kind of pay you under the table. It's not really easy to find an event that would say, you know, it's $20 per hour and you're working 6 hours, or you're working a 12-hour shift and they're gonna pay you out on that day. I've heard of people who were lucky enough to book gigs like that, but I've never come across it. So I was looking for events like that, but I couldn't find anything. I was trying to contact, you know, the agency to see like if there's a possible way of getting paid earlier. I just didn't know what to do. And it was a very tough situation. I was feeling really sad and depressed because, you know, I'm doing the work that I like to do. I'm able to make my own hours. I'm able to go to casting calls and, you know, work as a model in the city, but I wasn't able to make ends meet at that time. And it was a huge bummer for me. But what I did realize when I think about this time is that instead of thinking that like woe is me, or instead of having the attitude of why is this always happening to me, or I'm feeling like shitty about myself and my predicament, I actually changed my mentality into thinking, you know what, this sucks right now, but it's gonna work out. Somehow it's gonna work out for the better. And I've always had a mentality like that. I've always kind of been able to self-correct the way that I was thinking about a particular situation, whether, you know, it was a really crappy situation or not. I've always been able to kind of think about the positive things, or change my mind into believing somehow the world is going to make it work and the universe was going to make it happen for me, whatever I needed. So at that time, I literally remember checking my bank account every other day, or checking my bank account or my email, trying to see like, oh my god, am I getting paid? Am I getting paid? Up until the point where I was just like, you know what? If I can't fix it right now. There's nothing that I can do. All I can do is know that it's all gonna work out. It's gonna work out. And I think that was a major shift in why I was able to manifest the $800. So how did I manifest it? After I changed my mentality, I started to just walk around the world as if there wasn't anything wrong, you know? So I was still doing the things that I would normally do as if, you know, there wasn't anything wrong, as if my rent was paid, as if life was all good. Instead of just like thinking that way, I started to portray the fact that, you know, everything was working out for me, everything was good. And I would like go out on dates with my friends, go out, you know, I was dating at the time, so I would go out on dates with the guy that I was seeing at the time. Granted, he wasn't my boyfriend or anything. We had, you know, just seen each other a couple times for dinner, but I decided, you know, I'm just gonna keep maneuvering around the world as if everything's fine, because everything is fine. So I remember my birthday wasn't too far away. So I don't remember exactly when my birthday was as far as pertaining to this particular event. I just knew that I know my birthday was coming up. We ended up going on a dinner date, and he was taking me out for my birthday. He took me to STK in New York City, and we, had dinner, and, we were having a good time, and somehow, my birthday came up in conversation, and he was just like, oh, your birthday's coming up. I didn't even say anything about the actual situation that I was going through, but he ended up saying to me, so like, what do you want for your birthday? In my mind, this was my birthday dinner. I thought this was what he wanted to give me for my birthday, but he went and asked me, he was like, what do you want for your birthday? And at that point, I didn't really say anything. I kind of just like let him talk, and he was like, I really want to get you something nice that you like, so like you just tell me what you really want. And at that time, I had actually told him, what a stupid thing, I had told him that I wanted a new phone. I had the iPhone 8 Plus, and I don't know, I just told him, I was like, yeah, I mean, if you want to get me a gift, like, I really want to upgrade my phone. I just want to buy a new phone. And I believe I told him it was like a couple $100 for the new phone. And he goes, okay, like, all right, that's no problem. And, he's a busy lawyer in the city, so he's kind of like always up and about and like going to clients at this time. So he goes and he says to me, he says, well, do you want me to like go get it for you, or like do you want cash? Like is that a question? So when he said that, in my head I was like, ding 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 ding. I'm like, wait, I need cash because I don't need a phone. I need to pay my bill. So I obviously did not say that at all. I just, I heard what he said, and I said, you know what, Italiano, that's a great idea. I told him, yeah, I'd prefer for him to give me cash for my birthday so that, he didn't have to worry about finding time to go and get the gift. Like, I will get it myself, and if he just, gave me cash, it'd be fine. So what he goes on saying is great, but he can't give me cash right then and there because of something or the other. I don't remember why, but he couldn't give me cash at that point. That I had to wait. I think he was waiting for clients to pay him as well, because he was working on a couple of cases, and so he was waiting to get paid as well. So I was just like, okay, like that's no problem. Like just let me know when you're able to, do it so I can like upgrade my phone as soon as possible. A couple of days go by, and I'm a person who doesn't like to ask people for anything. I'm kind of just like, I don't like to ask people for anything. I'm the type of person who's like very independent. If you're offering, cool, like, if you're offering to do something for me, like, I love that. But I don't really ask people for things. I'm just uncomfortable with doing that. Granted, over the years, I've become more comfortable, not being demanding, but letting people know what I need from them. So although he, you know, offered to send me money for my birthday, I didn't feel comfortable reaching out to him to remind him or ask him. I figured if he really wants to do it, he will remember and he'll make it happen. But I didn't feel comfortable going and like trying to remind him or asking him for it. So yeah, so a couple days go by. I'm still going about the world as if nothing's happening. I don't really hear from him much, and I'm just going about the world. I decide that I'm going to take myself out for happy hour, right? I think I worked in an event, and I was just like out, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go and take myself out for happy hour. So I decided to take myself out to Lafayette, one of my favorite French restaurants, for happy hour. And I do this because, you know, I've been working hard. I gotta treat myself, even though I had no business spending any money at Lafayette or anywhere at that time. But it was another way of, you know, walking about the world as if, you know, everything is good and continuing to manifest, in my opinion. So I go to Lafayette and I chill out by the bar. I order their spritzers. I order, like, they have a couple of appetizers on the menu. There's like a croquet or something like that. They have like a bunch of like really good stuff on their menu. So I go and I treat myself. So at some point in the night, I'm feeling myself a little bit. I'm feeling cute, feeling a little tipsy. I video chat Italiano and I tell him, you know, like that I'm out at Lafayette, that, you know, like I want to see what he's up to. He's excited to see me and he decides to get a cab over to me. He gets there around 20-30 minutes or so, and we have a couple more drinks. I haven't closed out my tab yet. Keep in mind, I haven't closed out my tab yet. So he comes, he orders a couple of drinks. I'm still drinking, like, as far as on his tab, and I think eventually at that point I was at Lafayette for like a few hours actually, because I think when he came, like, I ended up getting dinner too. So I had like imagine like their happy hour starts at 3 or 4 and he gets there at like maybe like 6 or 7. So I was there for quite some time, not expecting to be there for quite some time, but you know, when you're in the city and you're just, you know, having a good time evades you. So we're drinking, we're having a good time, and you know, he goes to close out his tab. Mind you, I haven't closed my tab out. He goes to close out his tab. So I look at him and I'm like, so do we want to put the tabs together? I was like, I didn't say it like that, or I did, but I was just basically like, you know, yeah, like we should just like, you know, close mine out too. We can like put everything together. And he goes, oh yeah, there's no problem. Yeah, just put everything together. Like, make it one tab. And he goes and pays the whole tab. And I was like, thank you. That's really sweet. So in that respect, I didn't end up spending any of my money. Thank goodness, because I had no business. But it was very sweet of him to do that. Then he goes to say, oh, like, I never gave you your birthday gift. You said you wanted cash, right? And I look at him and I'm like, yeah, definitely. Like, are you able to do that right now? So he opened his business account, and this is the crazy part. He opened his business account on his like phone, and we decide that he was going to Zelle me like $200 or $300 or something like that. So he decides to Zelle me. And I give him my Zelle information, and he's like, okay, well, I've never used this before, so like I'm not too sure how to do it. And I'm just like, okay, you put that here, you put that there, and then you do this. And he's like, okay, all right, let me do like a test transaction. So I'm only gonna like send like $200 just as a test transaction because I've never done it before. And he sends it, and for some reason it doesn't go through, right? And I was like, okay, well that's weird. And he's like, yeah, that's weird. And he's showing me his business account and he's showing me that he has funds and all that. And I was like, yeah, I don't know, like, do you want to try again? And he does it a second time. He sends, and he sends $200 a second time. It doesn't go through. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then he tries a third time. And then he tries a fourth time. All 4 times he sends $200. And I'm looking at my account. He's looking at his account. No money has been withdrawn. No money has been deposited. And we're just like, I don't know. So he decides, he's like, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna call my bank right now because there's no reason why that shouldn't have gone through. I don't know what's going on, but I want you to have your gift that I promised you. And I was like, oh my gosh, well thank you. Like, thank you for like handling it right now. I really appreciate it. So he calls his bank, and we're literally sitting at Lafayette for another like another hour, or maybe 30 minutes, hour. And he's trying to figure it out. And I'm just chilling. I'm like hanging out, probably finishing a drink. And he basically gets off the phone, and they tell him that, you know, sometimes it takes a couple of minutes and X, Y, and Z and all that. And if it doesn't go through, like, you know, I don't know what stuff they tell him. But basically, they said there shouldn't be a reason why it's giving him like an error message, or that neither of us are getting our Zelle. If you've used Zelle before, you know that it's instantaneous. Like I have 2 bank accounts, and I Zelle to myself all the time, and it's literally within like a minute. But at this point, I wasn't seeing anything in my account, and he wasn't seeing anything being withdrawn. So we wait, and a couple of minutes later, notification. A couple minutes later, there's $800 in my account because he sent $200 4 times. The $200 test, whatever. And he didn't have any intention on giving me that much. He did it by accident. So me and my sweet self, basically I go, and I would never want to put anyone in a predicament, and I knew that he didn't intentionally send that, you know. I don't know what his situation is like, so I didn't want to, you know, put him in any kind of predicament. So I said, oh wow, like I received all of the funds. I know you didn't mean to send that much. Do you want me to send you back any? And the true gentleman that he was, he said, no, you know, like, he's like, oh, you could probably just like pay off the phone for the year or something like that. And I was just like, oh, well, thank you. You know, it's like really sweet of you, to do that for me. And yeah, somehow, as I needed $800 exact dollars to supplement, like for my rent, I was like down $800. Somehow, without even, I didn't ask him for it. I didn't put out like any like words of like, oh, you know, I'm in a tough situation. I need like $800 for X, Y, and Z, or anything like that. I didn't even ask him for a birthday gift. He just knew that my birthday was coming. He offered to give me either a gift or cash, and then he ended up giving me more cash than he intended to. That was the exact amount that I actually needed. And it was kind of crazy. I mean, when that happened, you know, I had to thank the universe. I had to thank God. I had to be like, I had to really look at the situation for what it was, you know? Because if I walked into that situation feeling down about the circumstances, feeling lost, confused, all those negative emotions that I had initially. I definitely had them initially. I had to make the conscious decision to not lead into life with negative emotion despite the situation that I was in at the time. I had to lead with a like positive understanding that like somehow it's gonna work out, that something's gonna happen and the universe is going to make it happen. I don't know how it's gonna happen, but I'm going to get out of this situation. And it just so happened that in a matter of days, I was able to manifest some money into my account. And yeah, I'm very, very blessed in that, like, that I have a positive outlook on life, and I'm very blessed in, you know, the things that I've been able to maneuver for myself. And yeah, so, and that wasn't the best or the first, actually it was the first time, I believe it was like maybe the first time that I like manifested like that amount of money. But I've actually manifested more. There was a time where I manifested $2,100 in my account. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually finish my makeup off of camera, and then I'll come back and see what happens. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to finish my makeup off of camera, and then I'll be back. So that is how I manifested $800 into my account. I couldn't believe it. In a matter of a couple of days, I was able to go from broke to at least being able to you know, do the things that I needed to do with that money. So if you guys like videos and want to see more content like this, definitely hit that like button. Definitely leave a comment down below and let me know if you've ever manifested anything, whether it is, you know, a job, an apartment, some money, a boyfriend. Let me know how that went for you. And if you want to see more videos like this, definitely like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be sharing more content like this, a little bit more, you know, laid back and chill, and it's definitely going to help me get more comfortable getting back in front of the camera, as well as putting out content out there for you guys. So thank you for watching.